So, simplifying fractions, 12 over 15.
It'd be 12 square the root of 15.
I'm gonna do this kind of a certain way so you can really see what's happening. So what number do 12 and 15 both divide by? 3, right? So 3 times what is 12?
4.
And 3 times what is 15? 5. And then what is 3 divided by 3?
1.
Yeah, so basically what's happening is we're dividing away a common factor, right? So therefore, what does it reduce to?
4/5.
4/5. Because they're both multiplied by 3, we can divide that away, because what's the opposite of multiplication? Division. They undo each other. So if two numbers are both multiplied by the same number, you can divide that away, and it reduces that fraction. So same concept here, 15 over 25. What do both of those numbers divide by? 5 times 3 and 5 times 5, right? So 5 divided by 5 cancels. Therefore, my answer is 3/5. Do the last one on your own real quick. Negative 27 over 6. So it is negative. That's just going to chill out front. It's just a negative number is all that is. What did 27 and 6 both divide by? 3. So 3 times 9 and 3 times 2. So what cancels out? The 3's. Now I'm writing this a very specific way because you're going to see this very similarly, and again, it's just a second. So therefore our answer is negative 9/2, or negative 9 over 2. Okay? So now we're going to apply that to a polynomial of factors. So remember, a factor is just anything multiplied together. So this is a factor, times this is a factor, and this is a factor, times this is a factor. So anytime two things are multiplied together, if it occurs on the top and the bottom, we can divide it away, and they cancel out. So what cancels out here? What factors? Yeah, x plus 2 cancels out with x plus 2. They were both multiplied on the top and the bottom, so we can divide those away, and then what's left on top? The number 3 over x plus 3. Now I get this question all the time, and people always do it on the test. I'll see people do this. They'll say, oh, well, there's a 3 on top and there's a 3 on bottom. So therefore my answer is, I don't know, 1 over x. What's wrong with that logic? It's not a bad idea.
Because the x has to equal -3 to...
No, not necessarily. Whitney?
Since it's in parentheses, you would need to add the 3 and the x before you could even divide.
Well, I don't see any parentheses. You're on the right track. You're on the right. I'm just being the stickler here. I don't see any parentheses. So why can I not divide away the number 3?
You can only divide out 2 years.
You can.
Trick question.
It's not a trick question.
You can only divide out
You
half.
can't divide like 9 minus or divided by 6 plus 2.
Yeah, you're all kind of on the right track. What operation is happening here?
Addition.
Adding, right? Can you divide away adding? No, they're not inverses of each. They don't undo each other. So that's why, okay? You can't undo adding by dividing it away. Does that make sense? So be careful of that. It happens a lot, okay? So now what we're going to do, what's the only difference between this and the one we just did? There's more numbers?
There's a factor.
There's no...
It's not factored, yeah. So these, a lot of, well, not this one, but in a second, these are similar to the ones we just did on our whiteboard. So if you want to factor them, you can. They aren't hard to factor. If you want to practice using the ACT2 program, you can. But basically, first we just need to factor the two quadratics. So let's do this without the program. Let's do one together. So on the top here, what factors of positive 16 add up to negative 8? Negative 4, negative 4. Good. So x minus 4 times x minus 4. Because a negative times a negative is a positive, right? And a negative plus a negative is negative 8. How does the bottom factor, what factors of negative 24 add up to 2?
Negative 4 and positive 6.
X minus 4, x plus 6. Do we agree with that? Minus 4 plus 6. That's up to 2. Okay, now we have something times something on top. We have something times something on bottom. Are there any of those we could divide away?
X minus 4.
Yeah, there's a pair. There's an x minus 4 on top, and there's an x minus 4 on bottom. So those divide away. And my simplified answer then would be what's left, just like we did in elementary school a few slides ago. So x minus 4 over x plus 6.
Do you have to leave the parentheses?
The parentheses are an indication of multiplying, right? So are we multiplying anymore?
No.
No, so you don't have to have them. It wouldn't be wrong. You could, if it makes you feel better inside, you can. Doesn't matter though. Now, question, can I cross these x's out?
No.
Why not?
Because they're plus.
Yeah, one's subtracting and one's adding. You can't undo those things by dividing. So be careful of that. That would be my final answer, x minus 4 over x plus 6. Okay, now that you've seen that on your own, these are all of the ones we just factored on our whiteboards. That's why I did them on our whiteboards. You just factored all of these, either in the program or on the whiteboard. So factor each of them. That should go fast now. And then do your cancellations and give me the simplified answer. Okay, go. If you're watching the video, here are the correct answers for number 1 and 2. If you want to pause it and look through that to check your answers. We're going to go on to 3 and 4. So on the back side of your notes here, multiply and divide fractions here. How do we multiply two fractions?
Top times top, bottom.
Straight across the top and straight across the bottom. So what does that come out to? 60 over 40.
3 seconds.
So straight across, and then we're back to the front page. What do 60 and 40 both divide by? 20, right? So 20 times what? Oh yeah, sorry, I'm going crazy. 20 times 3, and on the bottom we have 20 times what? 2. So the 20s cancel out, and what's my reduced answer? 3 over 2.
Yeah.
Now, how do we divide fractions? This is the one you really need to pay attention to. That's the right answer, I think. Yep, you're doing the right thing. What'd you say, Rachel? You're thinking of solving when there's an equal sign between. So if I had like x minus 2 equals 3 over 4, then we 4 times x and 2 times 3. But this is just dividing fractions.
Don't you do like 6 divided by 5 or something like that?
Kind of. I think a lot of the middle school teachers and elementary school teachers, they teach it as keep, change, flip.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Ours was keep, change.
So you keep the first fraction the same.
Oh my gosh!
You change the division sign to a multiply, and then you flip the second fraction upside down. Remember that? No. So then from there you'd multiply straight across and simplify again. For the sake of time, let's go to our first example. Skip that. We're going to go to this one right here. It says 5x times x minus 2. You see that one?
Yeah.
So how do we multiply two fractions?
Cross.
Straight across. So what? This is something times something times something.
So it's a.
So really, what you can just do is connect the two fractions, right? And now it's just all multiplied together, right? They were all multiplied anyways. Like there was some stuff multiplied in this fraction, there was some stuff multiplied in this fraction. So if we multiply them together, they're just multiplied times each other. So really, I mean, you could rewrite this whole thing out if you want, but it's all just multiplied straight across. So the whole numerator's together now. I like to bring the 10 out front because that's in the middle there. But then all this is just multiplied together. So now's the fun part. You just gotta cross a whole bunch of stuff out. So what cancels?
X minus 2.
The x minus 2's cancel.
X plus 1.
X plus 1 on top and bottom.
That's it.
That's not all it for this one.
Oh, 5 divided by 10.
Yeah, 5 over 10 would be what? 1 over 2. And then we'd need to write out the stuff that doesn't cancel. So there was an x here. There was an x on top that didn't cancel, so 1x. And then on the bottom, we had x minus 6 times x minus 1. Nope, you don't even have to do that. Just leave it factored.
Why would we do that?
Because why not?
So there's your answer right there. That's all the stuff that didn't cancel.
It was canceled.
Okay, dude. That makes me sad.
So here we go. Speed factoring. How does the top of this factor?
X plus 4.
X minus 4,
Yeah.
x plus 3.
That's
Over
X,
minus 4 plus 1.
yeah.
So keep the first fraction, change the sign to a multiplication sign, and flip this one upside down. So it's not really any harder, right?
correct.
So when I'm factoring this, I'm just going to put the one on top on the bottom. So how does x squared minus 9 factor?
X plus 3.
And notice I'm putting it on the bottom now.
Yes.
And how does this factor? What factors of 2 add up to 3?
X
Plus 2 plus
X
1.
plus 1.
Oh my god.
And right now they're just multiplied, so basically it's one gigantic fraction. So at this point you can just connect it together and
So
cancel a whole bunch of stuff. So what
Minus
cancels?
4's cancel, the plus 1's cancel, the plus 3's cancel.
Ooh, yeah. I like that.
So it's just 2 things.
So your answer is x plus 2 over x minus 3.